Our telecast today and every Reds broadcast on Fox Sports Ohio presented in beautiful high definition courtesy of H.H. Gregg. Weather very much a factor at Great American Ballpark in downtown Cincinnati today. And Jeff Creighton, do you have some good news for us?
Thanks a lot. Once again, we run the risk of a wet Reds game, but we'll probably get that game in. 63 at the first pitch, 64 by the seventh inning, 65 by that final out. Play ball.
Play ball is right. Joey Votto will be back in the lineup again for the Reds, and certainly has swung a good bat on this homestand.
Well, they need him to swing a good bat because obviously Joey Votto in the middle of that lineup is a cog that makes it all happen. But you'd love to see them get the table set a little bit ahead of his at-bats, because the more runners he has ahead of him, the more he's going to drive in, and the Reds could use some runs.
Well, today is a series finale. It is the homestand finale. Reds trying to get out of this San Diego series with a victory. First pitch is right around the corner. Straight years. By Just for Men for Mustache and Beard, keep your edge. And by Skyline Chili. You know it's Skyline time when you get that craving for a Skyline three-way or cheese conies. Well, on the banks of the mighty Ohio River, we welcome you inside Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Reds have taken the field. Homer Bailey going through his warm-up tosses. And here's a lineup for San Diego that he'll face. Under manager Bud Black. Leading off playing shortstop, the former Red is Jerry Hairston Jr., David Eckstein at second, Adrian Gonzalez. Home runs in his last 6 games in his ballpark. Chase Hudley is down at third, Will Venable in right with Kyle Blanks in left. A right at third is Scott Hairston, Nick Hundley, and Clayton Richard, the left-hander. And starting it for the Reds from LaGrange, Texas, 23-year-old right-hander Homer Bailey.
Well, you just hope Homer's able to regain some of the magic that he had in his last 9 starts of 2009. That's when he went 6-1, and he takes some pretty good stuff to the mound with him. Got the live arm, fastball up around 93 to 95. That slurvy curveball that he throws can be effective against righties and lefties. And that split finger, he hasn't overused it yet this year, but that's a very effective pitch to complement the fastball. Last time out, Homer did not have good release points on his breaking balls or his off-speed stuff, and he relied almost exclusively on the fastball. And he's got a good enough fastball to be able to do that for the first time around through the order.
Homer in 2 career starts against San Diego has thrown the ball very, very well. A 1-0 record with an ER right at 3.9. Went 6 1/3, allowed 3 runs in 08, and then last year 3 runs in 7 1/3 innings. To beat him here at Great American Ballpark. Strike 1 to Jerry Hairston Jr., and this one underway on a Sunday afternoon, April the 25th. Hairston at 222 with an RBI, does have a pair of stolen bases. And a breaking ball from Bailey misses away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tuesday night against the Dodgers, Bailey left the game with a 9-5 lead, but wound up with a no decision when the Dodgers tied it with 4 runs in the 8th inning off Nick Massett. In 5 1/3 innings, he allowed 8 hits, 3 walks, and had 110 pitches in the 5 1/3. He gave up those 3 runs in the first inning and then 2 more in his final inning in the 6th before being taken out of the game. In the air, straight away center field. It is a very windy day here in Cincinnati, and that could have some effect on the play here today, blowing out towards the left field line, right to left. The Reds on defense, brought to you by Ford. Stubbs in center, flanked by Gomes and Jay Bruce. Rolling at third, Votto at first. Phillips at second. Cabrera back in the lineup after an off day yesterday at short. And Ramon Hernandez makes up 1/2 of the battery along with Homer Bailey. So 1 away for David Eckstein.
Well, one way to keep your pitch count down is to throw first pitch strikes, and so far so good for Homer, 2 out of 2.
San Diego comes into play today, the hottest team in all of Major League Baseball. They've won 8 consecutive games after that 5-0 victory here yesterday. It's their longest winning streak since they went on a 10-gamer in May of last year. And by winning the 8 consecutive games, the Padres come in sharing the best mark in the entire National League with the defending National League champion Phillies. Each team 11 wins against 6 losses. By all accounts, this is a San Diego team coming into the year that virtually everyone had picked to finish dead last in the National League West. Base hit into right field by Eckstein, and he's a one-out base runner for Adrian Gonzalez.
Now, David Eckstein, really, this is all he wants to ever do with the ball. Just kind of dink it in the left, dink it in the right. He fights it off and goes the other way. Very tough and pesky out. Mr. Danger.
No matter where he plays all over baseball, Adrian Gonzalez is the #1 threat when the Padres are on the field. He's down a strike.
Like what his teammate Tony Gwynn Jr. said about him, because the balls that he's hit here for home runs, they're not so convinced that they would have been home runs out there at Petco Park in San Diego. Gwynn said if he played in this ballpark, he'd hit 70 a year. That may be a little exaggerated, but he'd be in the 50 range.
Gonzalez has homered in 5 of his last 6 appearances at Great American Ballpark. He's quickly behind 0-2 as Bailey challenges him with a fastball.
Like it. Yesterday it seemed like Johnny Cueto had a real good fastball, but he was hurt on his breaking pitches. Gave up a home run to this guy, Gonzalez, on a changeup that he kind of hung up about thigh high. Gave up a home run to Will Venable on a slider. Both of these young men have good fastballs and use it.
Just blew him away with another fastball. That one at 93 miles per hour. First strikeout of the game for Homer Bailey.
The thing about Bailey's fastball is that the radar gun tells you one thing, but he gets such good extension. I mean, he's a tall guy. He's about 6'3", 6'4". Look at that long stride. He's way out there over his front leg. And when he's able to do that, he's closer to home plate than he appears, and he's got a sneaky 93 fastball.
Well, the hottest hitter in the San Diego lineup is this man right here, Chase Headley. A .379 batting average with a home run and 7 runs batted in. Headley had 3 hits and 4 at-bats yesterday and scored 2 runs. The Cardinals lost again late last night out west in San Francisco, where they have been dominated like a lot of teams will be and have been already this year by that outstanding San Francisco Giants pitching staff. That's in the air to left field, tailing away from Johnny Gomes, and he'll make a real nice running catch. Well done by Johnny Gomes. Talked about the wind. It carried that ball further and further, and Gomes hung with it. Good play to end a scoreless first. Richard on the mound today for San Diego.
Now the big left-hander's got a blazing fastball. He'll throw it every bit as hard as Homer Bailey does, up sometimes around 95, 96. Great pickoff move. I mean, way better than the guy yesterday. He's got a slider and a changeup as his secondary pitches. He is the last member of the Padre rotation who does not have a win.
And as you can see from that ERA at 3.38, it's not from not pitching well, that's for sure. Richard, originally an 8th-round draft pick by the Chicago White Sox in 2005 out of the University of Michigan. A 2003 graduate of McCutcheon High School in Lafayette, Indiana. That's the home of the Boilermakers.
Well, those White Sox, they seem to like the former football types. You go up and down their draft list year after year, and they've got always these guys that played some football.
High fly ball into left field. Playable for Kyle Blanks at the warning track. One away. San Diego on defense, presented by Ford. Blanks, as you see, is in left. Scott Hairston in center field and Will Venable in right. Chase Headley, Jerry Hairston Jr., David Eckstein, Adrian Gonzalez along the infield with a battery of Richard and Nick Hundley. Really a football background for both Clayton Richard and his battery mate Nick Hundley. Hundley a football standout, and his father coaches collegiately at UCLA. 1-1 on Orlando Cabrera. We told you about Richard, a two-sport performer at the University of Michigan in both baseball and football. In fact, he was Michigan's first two-sport baseball player since basketball's Robbie Reed back in the final couple of years of the 1990s. And really didn't get a lot of playing time for Michigan. Was a redshirt on their 2003 Big Ten championship football team. Did not play the following year except for a backup role where he threw for 15 passes for 52 yards. 3-2 on Orlando Cabrera. But you know he had to be mighty good if he was able to play in Michigan, especially in those days. There's a line drive into right field. And there are two away in the inning.
Well, you may have also known from those stats, if you take a good look at him, that he was a reliever as a pitcher on the Michigan team, and they turned him into a starter since signing a professional contract. 21 games right there. Those were not starts for him. He had 5 saves, so he was primarily a setup guy. Interesting, but, you know, when you're 6'5", left-handed, 240, and you're throwing in 90s, somebody's going to draft you.
2 away for Joey Votto. And he takes a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Joey at 290, 3 home runs and 9 runs driven in. Well, there was a time where the University of Michigan was among the elite baseball programs in all of America. Of course, a former great Miami University head coach, Bud Middow, left Miami and took over at Michigan. I mean, year after year, seemingly they were among the top 10 teams in the country. Three and 2 the count on Votto. 2 down, nobody on. Scoreless game, last of the first. And there's ball 4. That's one thing Votto does continue to do.
He's striking out more than he usually does, Votto, but he also, his walks are up. So it's just almost a 1-to-1 ratio between his strikeouts and bases on balls. Getting on base.
That's the 7th time alone on this homestand, and this being the 6th game on it, where Votto's drawn a walk. So now Brandon Phillips. Checked in at 217, 2 home runs, 9 knocked in. Into right center field, this will find a hole, sending Votto on to third base. So the Reds making some 2-out noise here in the first inning off Richard.
Now they're going to pitch Brandon Phillips away because they think he's pulling off the ball a little bit, but he stays on that one enough, and that's a good pitch down at the very lower corner of the strike zone. That's a way to go with it.
Good to see our friend Billy Hatcher back in the first base coach's box for the Reds after we told you his daughter Chelsea down at the University of Tennessee was not feeling well. Drove down there Friday night in the middle of the night to make sure she's all right. Welcome back, Billy. Chelsea, a soccer player down there at the University of Tennessee. She was a great player here locally at Seven Hills School over there off Red Bank Road. Tapper in the hole, long throw for Hairston. What a play on both ends by Hairston and Adrian Gonzalez. So the Reds leave them on the corners. We go to the second, no score. Out of the inning. 2 runners in essence picked off after Johnny Cueto was thrown out. Trying to go first to third on an infield hit from Drew Stubbs. 0-2 to Will Venables. We begin the second inning of a scoreless game. And for those who did not read about it in the paper, weren't with us during the pregame show, Dusty Baker, who is more than accessible to the media every single day as skipper of this team, just said not today. Apparently closed the door in his clubhouse, had a lot to say to his club, was extremely upset about the things that took place on the field yesterday in this 7-11 start, but comes back ready to go and trying to get it turned around on this Sunday afternoon. 1-2 on Will Venables. Venable 1 of 3 yesterday, hit a 2-run home run off Johnny Cueto in the 6th inning. He also walked and scored a run after getting 2 hits, scoring a run, stealing a base, and reaching 3 times on Friday night. He's had a good series.
He's had a good series. Also included a delayed steal yesterday. One of the other embarrassing moments, that side on the defensive side for the Reds.
Good off-speed pitch here by Bailey. And that's his second strikeout. Well, you can talk Reds baseball right now with the real McCoy. Just log on to FoxSportsOhio.com during our game today for a live chat with Hall of Fame baseball writer Hal McCoy. And there he is, ready to hear from you right here and right now. Hal, of course, was down in the clubhouse with Dusty Baker before the game today. And if you'd like to ask him about that or what's going on with the Reds right now, then log on to FoxSportsOhio.com. Do you have a blog on there, Chris Welsh?
No, I do not.
Should.
I don't. Haven't done the Twitter thing, the blog. Way behind on Facebook.
Well, you know, we can get you going on that blog on Fox Ohio. I mean, like right now.
Can we?
Well, I have no doubt about it. They'd love to have it.
Great. Thank you very much for the invite.
1-1 to Kyle Blanks. Grounded right to Orlando Cabrera. They're a 2-away in the inning.
If you've seen me type with 2 fingers, just take a little too long for me to blog out there, big boy.
Yeah, but you know what? You're going to have a lot of downtime on this upcoming road trip.
You think so?
In Houston. I would imagine next weekend in St. Louis.
You know, in Houston, we haven't seen the Astros in spring training. I'll be doing a lot of prep. And, of course, in St. Louis, I'm over there at the Bowling Hall of Fame most of my off hours.
Strike 1 to Scott Hairston. Well, I guess maybe I'm wrong.
In fact,
not the first time and not going to be the last.
When you bop into St. Louis next week, we'll head over there together. I know the guy in the back
Paul
door.
Keels in for the Cardinals.
Oh, is that right?
I'm on my way down to Houston, Texas. Fly ball to left field. Johnny Gomes has it, and that'll end the inning. So Homer Bailey off to a good start today. Reds coming to bat. No score in the game. Kentucky Toyota dealers. Johnny Gomes, first pitch swinging, pops it up down the right field line. And a nice play by David Eckstein to go out there and get it.
Johnny Gomes up there early in the count, trying to do some damage. Just gets underneath a off-speed pitch right there from Richard. You know, Richard has 3 pitches that he throws. He doesn't throw any more than that. But he's got all 3 of them that are pretty good, and Johnny did not like the result of that swing. Not a good day to be a batting helmet.
Now Jay Bruce. Reds left 2-1 in the first inning. They got a walk to Joey Votto with 2 men out. He went to third on a single by Brandon Phillips. But then an outstanding play was made by the former Red turned Padre, Jerry Hairston Jr. on a ground ball in the hole at short off the bat of Scott Rowland. And he threw him out to end the inning.
Hey, one thing about Clayton Richard, this guy's ready to go. I mean, he's pumping that ball as soon as he gets it back there, like he's got a plane to catch.
He does. They're going to Florida.
Yeah, but it's a charter. They'll hang on for him, don't you think?
All depends on how he does today.
That's pressure.
On the ground of the second baseman Eckstein. Bruce retired, 2 up, 2 down in the Reds' second inning. Well, Kroger and the Reds are proud to team up to offer you a great value this season. Check concession stands throughout the ballpark for the Kroger Meal Deal, which includes a full-size adult hot dog, a 16-ounce Coke, and during this homestand, a cup of Danimals yogurt, all for just $7. They're getting ready to open a brand new Kroger out in Mount Orem on May the 6th, about 25 miles east of Cincinnati.
You going to be out there?
I will be there.
Excellent. You're not going to be out there bagging groceries like you were up there in Loveland, were you?
Well, you know what? I used to do that as a summer job every year for about 8-9 years. So, I mean, I actually, when I go there, I bag my own.
You're probably a pro.
I tell all the guys working, I'm like, hey, step back. Let the big boy show you the way.
Nice. Produce together.
Oh, look at me and they beat it.
Frozen stuff together.
Well, I don't care about all that.
Oh, you don't?
Just load them up. Now, see, if I were an employee there and you're doing it for other people, right? I mean, you do it that way.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, but if you're going right back home, now, if you're buying some hamburger meat or something like that, you know, you wrap it up in the plastic, right? Make sure it doesn't leak.
Mm-hmm. Nothing worse than that.
Oh, well, no, not good. No. Not good.
It's on your hands.
Oh, yeah. Well, or other food. Ugh. Three and 2 on Ramon Hernandez with 2 down and nobody on. Did you used to bag groceries at Kroger?
No, I bagged groceries my summer job when I was playing in the Cape Cod League.
Nice.
It's tiring. They had no shopping carts. They had to carry everything out through the parking lot. Owner got on me and said, "You're not hustling enough." I said, "I'm pitching tonight." He said, "I don't care."
I was going to say, I don't think he cared about it.
He didn't care.
No.
So I found another job.
Is that one of those jobs, you know, that you turn on the sprinklers a couple times a day?
No, I actually taught riflery at a Boy Scout camp.
Really?
Yeah.
You're a marksman?
No. Went to the library.
What?
Did my research at the local library. Applied for the job and got it.
Man. Baseball games returns as voice of the Padres on the television side this year. It's really been nice to have a chance to talk to him the last 3 days while they've been in town.
What a class guy.
Oh, yeah.
Really.
Scoreless game as San Diego bats against Homer Bailey here in the 3rd inning. Each team with a hit. San Diego's came in the 1st inning, a 1-out single by David Eckstein. Bailey is fanned 2, not walked about it. So he faces Hundley, the pitcher, and then Jerry Hairston Jr. here in the 3rd. Fastball in there, strike 2-1.
Like that the way Homer went 2-0 and then took a little lap around the mound to try to clear his head. But after a strike, he's ready to go.
Of course, Bailey was so electrifying towards the tail end of last year. You go back to the final week of August. And from then till the end of the year, a 6-1 record. And remember, he was a victim of a couple of blown saves. So he could have very easily been 8-1. And the earned run average was a major league best 1.70. That breaking ball got away from him to run the count full on Nick Hundley. But after looking very sharp in spring training, Bailey, like most of the starting rotation, slow to come out of the gate here in the month of April. Came right back with a 3-2 fastball, and it's fouled away by Hundley. Three and 2 to Hundley again. And a fastball is strike 3 called. Hundley didn't like it. That's 3 of them for Homer Bailey.
I'll tell you what, if Homer can throw that ball in that spot with that speed consistently, he's going to win a lot of games. Buddy back didn't like the call. That's a strike. In fact, it was so good, Hundley couldn't pull the trigger, even if he wanted to. He was kind of buckling with his left foot anyhow.
Now Clayton Richard, left-handed pitcher, left-handed batter. Much like we saw here yesterday when there was a threat of rain, the lights have been turned on. Slow roller by the mound. Cabrera charging on the run, throws out Richard. Good play by the Red shortstop, and the first 2 retired by Homer here in the 3rd.
Firing strikes, keeping it down, your defense will be better. Cabrera's got to come a long way. Richard runs pretty well. The book on him when he was a backup quarterback at Michigan, he was a good scrambling type quarterback. Had enough speed to get out of the way of some rushing defensive linemen.
Wasn't going to run away from any Buckeyes, I can promise you that.
Good.
He might have been good against the, maybe the Minnesotas of the world. Michigan State, not the boys from Columbus. Barry Hairston Jr. digging in. In there, a strike. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, that team where Richard was a redshirt when Michigan won the 2003 Big Ten football championship, that was the last year Michigan has won the Big Ten title. Ohio State has won it, if I'm not mistaken, every year since then. If not outright, then a share of it. They won, what, 5 or 6 in a row, I think. 0-2 to Jerry Hairston Jr.
Well, he redshirted his first year.
Yeah.
In the second year, he threw 15 passes total, and a lot of them were in one game he played against, of all people, San Diego State. So here he is out playing for the Padres now.
Oh, 2 to Hairston, and there's a swing and a miss. And what a start today for Bailey. Faced 1 over the minimum, allowed 1 hit, and fanned 4. An Android phone with MLB.com's At Bat 2010, featuring play-by-play and live audio broadcast. Don't miss a moment all year. Visit Reds.com on your iPhone or iPod Touch to buy today. Well, Homer Bailey looking mighty good through the front 3 on the mound. Now he grabs a bat, puts on a helmet to open up the scoreless game in the bottom of the 3rd. Homer has swung the bat well when given the chance so far this season. 4 at-bats, has 2 base hits, and has laid down a sacrifice bunt.
It's one of the better starts Reds pitchers have had at the plate in recent years.
Now, who were you playing for when you hit a home run? Did you hit more than one?
No.
For the Reds.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. Was that here in your hometown?
That was in Philly.
In Philly. Three and 2 now to Bailey. Reds left 2 base runners on against Richard in the first inning, and then were set down in order in the second. And Bailey looks at ball 4. He's aboard to open the 3rd inning.
Pretty doggone good at bat right there. Because Richard throws hard enough to keep you honest. I mean, you can't wait to see whether it's going to be a ball or a strike with that guy. It gets up on you in a hurry. Now, Bailey, when he faced Adrian Gonzalez, blew him away on 3 fastballs, and they're not talking down there at all. Normally, first baseman will talk to the position players, but they don't chat too much with the opposing pitcher.
Mark Wagner informs me you are still the only pitcher born in the state of Delaware to hit a home run in Major League history. In there, a strike to Drew Stubbs.
Thank goodness for small things like the state of Delaware.
Hey, it's pretty cool if you're the only guy that's ever been born in that state that's ever done that, right? I mean, you're the only one. That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me tell you all about it on the way down to Houston tomorrow.
Well, it's for that very reason that I'm not leaving till Tuesday morning. Pitch taken down and in, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Drew Stubbs. Two and two to Drew Stubbs, leadoff man aboard here in the Reds' 3rd inning. Richard, a big deep breath coming to the plate, and misses again with a breaking ball down and in.
Yeah, we missed back-to-back breaking balls right there. Got to figure Drew Stubbs looking for a heater here, huh?
To second for 1, throw to first, not going to be in time to double up Stubbs. And he did come with a heater. Why wouldn't you? Against anybody.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, he gets a lot of ground balls. He gets them on a lot of them on his fastball. He's got a good infield behind him. Jerry Harrison's already turned in one superlative play. No matter what David Eckstein does at second, you're really hard to double up that guy. I mean, he's got a couple of different gears. Stubbs does. It's a good trade-off on the base paths.
Stubbs a perfect 4 for 4 in stolen base attempts, but you brought up the move of Clayton Richard. We saw a very good one yesterday from Wade LeBlanc.
Yeah, talking to some of the scouts who had seen this team play out on the West Coast before they came in, telling me that LeBlanc has a decent move, but Richard's got a great move. Now, LeBlanc had already picked off a couple before yesterday, both Arizona Diamondbacks. Added 2 more to that. But Richard's the one with the real deceptive move. He kind of hangs his leg out there a little bit. Got a high leg lift. Oops.
And they have Stubbs. And the throw is in time, and there's another out on the bases for the Reds.
You know, I can't blame that one. I mean, you've got a speedster out there in a 0-0 ball game, and the way you steal off a left-hander is you go on first move. You can't wait to see if he's going to go or not. If you're going to fault Stubbs at all, it's for having just a little bit short lead right there. If he's going on that pitch, you got to get a little bigger lead. But, you know, sometimes they throw you out.
Ball lined into left center field, but run down by Harrison, and the inning is over. We played 3 at Great American Ballpark. There's no score. .com or call Geico at 1-800-947-AUTO, and by GMC, we are professional grade. And of course, Reds baseball brought to you by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. David Eckstein looks at a strike on the outside corner to begin the 4th inning of a scoreless game. No runs, 1 hit for the Padres. Their only hit belongs to Eckstein. Over the mound. Would have been a do-or-die play there for Cabrera. Eckstein, even at 35 years old, still runs pretty well. So I'm sure that'll be scored a base hit all the way.
I think it already has been scored a base hit. It ought to be. Not only was it, you know, he runs well, but that ball's got overspin on it. It's going right between where the grass cutout is and second base. And Cabrera's not sure when he's going to catch up with it. He couldn't go right over the bag because he probably would have tripped on the bag. So tries to make a grab at it and didn't come up high enough for him. Maybe they can turn 2.
Adrian Gonzalez struck out as Bailey challenged him with fastball after fastball his first time up today. And a first pitch breaking ball this time, a beauty on the outside corner, a strike.
Now you got to figure that Gonzalez is up there looking fastball on this count. Figuring he got blown away the first time, he's not going to let it happen again. Looking for the cambio.
1-1 on Adrian Gonzalez. Leadoff man aboard. There goes Eckstein, and there goes a long one to right field. Drifting back, Jay Bruce, and again Adrian Gonzalez, who's now homered in 6 of his last 7 games at Great American Ballpark. And he gives San Diego a 2-0 lead here in the 4th.
Well, it was an off-speed pitch, and I can guarantee you one thing. Homer Bailey's out there on the mound thinking to himself, what in the heck am I doing out here? Letting him hit an off-speed pitch after blowing him away with 3 fastballs the first time. That's one of those little splitters that he throws. It just went right into the zone for him. If you throw it down and away, maybe you can keep it in the ballpark. But Gonzalez is just too good. I mean, really too good.
You know, Chris, I want to get back to the point you made, though, as here's ball 1 outside to Chase Headland. In the first at bat, he did blow him away on fastballs. Now, that's not to say you're going to be able to do that every time against Adrian Gonzalez. We know he's a very good fastball hitter. But we know that yesterday, Johnny Cueto, as you pointed out earlier, had a very good fastball. He tried to sneak a changeup by Gonzalez, left it over the plate. Gonzalez hits it in the seats. Another home run. I think a lot of people at home, wanting to know the inside of the game, because it reminds me of that old line, that they use of Ohio State football coach, to get back to Jim Tressel for a minute, where he calls the same play like 8-9 times in a row, and the offensive coordinator says to him, well, when are you going to call something different? He says, I'll call something different when the other team proves they can stop this play that I keep running, because we're ripping off 7, 8, 11 yards every time we run it. Why would you go away the next at bat with Adrian Gonzalez almost exclusively away from the fastball?
Well, because, I mentioned he's probably looking for the fastball, and the conventional thinking in baseball is that you get a great hitter like a Albert Pujols or an Adrian Gonzalez, and you can't pitch him the same way every time up, so you're trying to trick him. But when you've got a fastball like Homer Bailey, I'm a little more inclined to let that baby rip.
Well, there's a fastball that's ripped by Will Venable off the right center field wall, and he goes standing up with a 1-out double.
But the 3 fastballs that Bailey threw Gonzalez in the first at bat were all on the outside part of the plate. The last one up the ladder and away. Look where this one is, the Venable. This guy's a pull hitter all the way. And if you throw a left-hander down like that with a fastball, he's going to whack it. I mean, he has shown himself to be a good fastball hitter, Venable, in this series. And the Reds continually throw him down in a zone where he can hit it. Hit a slider in the same spot yesterday out of the ballpark. There's a guy that you need to throw your changeup low and away to, is Venable. It's awful easy up here, though. I mean,
no. I mean, I understand
didn't want to throw that changeup, middle of the plate. He wanted to get that baby down and away so that if Gonzalez is looking for a fastball, he's going to pull off it just a little bit. So it's not only the philosophy, oftentimes it's, how you execute the pitch. But I think on a day where Homer's got his good stuff, let it bust. Better crowd this guy, though.
1-1 to Kyle Blanks, who grounded out to the shortstop his first at bat. San Diego out to a 2-0 lead on a 2-run home run by Adrian Gonzalez. Threw a fastball away from Blanks there. He comes up empty.
What size of the bat this guy uses?
It looks like a club.
Jeez.
Well, for the first time today, a light rain begins to fall here at Great American Ballpark. Very, very light. Here's a fastball right down the middle. Strike 3 call. 5th strikeout of the game for Bailey, and they're 2 away in the inning. While we have a moment, let's take a look at our AT&T trivia question. Since 1900, what 3 players have won 4 or more consecutive National League batting titles? Good luck.
Tony Gwynn. How about Pete? Did he win?
No.
No?
No, I mean, you ask a question like this, and every now and again, you'll run into a guy like in modern day since 1950. I mean, this stuff we're talking about in the teens and 20s.
You sound irritated. You like to get some right, don't you?
Honus Wagner in that group.
Probably a pretty good guess there.
Not a bad one.
Ty Cobb.
Two and the count on Scott Hairston, Jerry's younger brother. In the air, left center field. Stubbs on the run, and he'll get to it shy of the track, and that'll end the inning. But Gonzalez does major damage yet again. He's homered in every game of this series. San Diego in front by a. Now the Reds come to bat last of the fourth inning, trailing San Diego 2-0 on the two-run home run by Adrian Gonzalez. And Joey Votto's behind strike one. Votto walked in the first and wound up stranded at third. He got there on a single by Brandon Phillips. And Jerry Hairston Jr. took away a hit and an RBI from Scott Rowland, making a very nice play and a hole it short to end the inning. Two and two the count on Joey Votto. Shoots it the other way, but they had him played that way. As Headley throws out Votto to open the fourth inning. Time to answer our AT&T trivia question. What three players since 1900 have won 4 or more consecutive National League batting titles? You said Tony Gwynn, correct. I said Honus Wagner, correct. And the other, Rogers Hornsby with St. Louis. Hornsby won 6 in a row, 1920 through 1925. Wagner won 4 straight. And Tony Gwynn from 1994 to 1997 won 4 in a row.
You know, since that trivia question is sponsored by AT&T, we ought to have like a lifeline phone number that you can call to get the quick answer.
How about free service?
Even better.
I mean,
well, you're already on that.
Why are we shooting? Why are we attempting layups when we can let it fly from 3? Right?
I'm with you. You're thinking big all the time.
Why not? They can always just say no, right?
And usually do.
That's right. Off the end of the bat with a flare into center field. It'll be caught by Hairston, and they're 2 away.
Brandon got a fastball first time. That last one was a changeup. Got him out on the end of the bat.
One hit for the Reds in this game, and that was off the bat of Phillips when he had that single to right field in the first inning.
A Brockabrella.
Those are nice, aren't they?
Yeah.
You have one of those?
No, I have a beret. I had a beret. Had to give it back. Did you ever have one of those?
No, but I tell you what, I wouldn't mind having one now. I mean, not now, like right now. But I think those things are pretty cool.
Yeah.
And more importantly, they're very efficient. Especially if you have kids. You know, you're carting around here and there. It's a rainy day. You got to make sure you're holding their hand or getting them out of the car or going across the street. You know, little kids.
Yeah, they're great until they pop them open in the car.
Well, yeah. There's ball 4 to Scott Rowland. It's a third walk issued today by Clayton Richard. Winning streaks this season presented by Honda. San Diego currently with the longest winning streak in all of baseball at 8 in a row. Tampa Bay is just having a great year, and so are the Yankees. Tampa Bay's 13-5. The Yankees are 12-5. The Angels all of a sudden starting to heat up. They had a 5-game winning streak come to an end yesterday. That one into left center field off the bat of Johnny Gomes, and on to second goes Roland. So for the second time in the game, the Reds are posing a threat against Richard with 2 men out in an inning.
Johnny getting ahead, going on that slider. Good shortcut there.
So 2 away, and here's Jay Bruce. Bruce bounced out to David Eckstein. His only time up. Eckstein playing with both feet on the outfield grass. As it strike one to Jay Bruce.
You know, normally a lot of pitchers in this league will pitch Votto the same way they pitch Bruce, but not so with Clayton Richard. He's almost kept exclusively the fastball on Votto, and he's thrown. Well, there's a fastball. It's a base hit.
Base hit in the left field. They're going to wave around Scott Rowland. Here comes a throw from left fielder Blanks, and he's safe at the plate. Hundley thought they had him. So Jay Bruce, a run-scoring single to left. And the Reds on the board, slicing the lead in half. It's a 2-1 game.
Well, Jay does get a fastball. He takes it the other way. Good sign and a good swing by Bruce to stay on it. He finds that hole, which is rather sizable, with the shortstop snugged up to second base. And here comes Scott Rowland. He's going to put a little hand plant right down there and touch the outside of home plate. Our Exmo look.
Well, look at the raindrops falling.
Yeah,
that
really,
camera's pretty slick.
Rowland had 2 choices.
And there's a base hit into center field that'll tie the game. Johnny Gomes coming to the plate and coming out to get a run down over at first.
Come on, Jay. Come on, Jay.
And Jay Bruce now breaks for the plate, and they tag out the runner before he touched home plate. Perhaps if Jay Bruce takes off 2/10 of a second sooner, he's able to score before the tag is applied, but the Reds tie the game as we go to the 5th. Marquee is our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. The last 7 games that young man has played here in Cincinnati, he has homered in 6 of the 7, including all 3 this weekend.
Well, you know, this is a play that the Reds love to run with 2 outs. They want that guy with the base hit to turn around and go between first and second, and hopefully the runner at third can get a big enough break to either draw a throw or be able to beat the tag before they're able to make the out at second. Unfortunately, in that case, Bruce didn't get there in time, but the play went according to plan. At least that's the way they wanted to have it run.
A big 2-out hits in that inning, not only by the guys who knocked in runs, Jay Bruce and Ramon Hernandez, but a 2-out hit by Johnny Gomes in front of the run-scoring singles.
Yeah, the first 2 easy outs, and all of a sudden the Reds come roaring right back.
So we begin anew here in the 5th, tied at 2, and Bailey back to work, facing 8, 9, and 1 in the batting order. Nick Hundley, Clayton Richard, and Jerry Hairston Jr.
I don't know if you had a chance to watch our pregame show, which featured our CBTS Tech Talk, but got a chance to talk to Homer Bailey about his delivery, what the important thing is about him being over the rubber. He explains it pretty well.
Well, here it is.
I'd say balance over the rubber. You know, the whole thing of pitching, if you're not balanced, then you can't repeat it. If you can repeat your delivery, you can repeat your pitches. And to me, that's the biggest thing. And, you know, I just like to be right here. I do a lot of drills in between starts and basically just able to stay over my back leg and kind of keep the weight on the balls of your foot.
You know, Tommy, I can't tell you, I teach a little pitching in the off season. I can't tell you how you go through that drill that Homer Bailey still does as a major leaguer with these young pitchers that are, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16 years old. If you have balance, you can repeat your delivery. If you're out of balance, you never will. And Homer has really gotten it over the last few years. He has worked very hard at staying over the rubber, staying balanced, and that's one reason why he's getting a little bit better. That's one main reason, in my estimation, he was the lights-out pitcher he was during his last 9 starts last year.
Ahead of Hundley at 1-0. 1-2 and that's off the outside corner. Well, the one thing is for sure about Homer Bailey. If nothing else, no one's going to outwork Homer Bailey. He wants to be a great pitcher. He cares. Stubborn at times, perhaps. Strong-minded. I mean, he's a Texan. There's a swing and a miss by Hundley. And that's 6 strikeouts in the game for Homer Bailey.
Well, let's see if he's got that balance over his delivery. You know, he's got a nice, smooth pace to his delivery. And he gets his leg up there, but watch his foot. It'll come straight down before it goes towards the plate. It comes down, and then he slides it really close to the ground towards the plate. Nice, long leg stride. Keeps his glove in front of him right there. He doesn't flop that glove, so he keeps his body straight. That's a real nice delivery. I mean, he has come such a long way from the first time we saw him drafted as a high schooler out of LaGrange, Texas. You know, he was a thrower, and he's making that little progress step by step of being a pitcher.
Clayton Richard, the batter, who grounded out to Orlando Cabrera his first time up. 1 strike, pitcher against pitcher in a 2-2 game here in the 5th. Continues to very lightly rain here in Cincinnati. That was in the forecast. We're hoping the heavy stuff can stay out of here until long after this one's over. But it doesn't look good. They look to be very comfortable.
Waiting for kiss cam.
Why wait? 2-2 to Richard.
Is that a proposition?
No, I mean, you know, you're hanging with your bride on a nice Sunday. You're comfortable. You got the umbrella there. I mean, you sneak in a little smooch with your bride. What the heck? You have to wait for a kiss cam. Look at a big fella. He doesn't need no stinking umbrella.
We didn't see the 3 kids he squished on the way to that ball.
Three and 2 on Clayton Richard. Richard hanging in there.
Old schooler. Choking up with 2 strikes.
Gotta like that, don't you?
Sure. By the way, when he was on that Michigan team in 03, that's the last time the Wolverines beat the Buckeyes.
Yes.
That according to our main Buckeye man, Paul Keels.
That's exactly right. Popped up. And caught by Cabrera in fair territory. And there are 2 away in the end. And ever since then, Jim Tressel has been in full ownership mode. Well, you look at a pitch count for Bailey here. Very, very good. 69 of them. 2 down here in the top of the 5th inning.
Yeah, we talked about at the very beginning of the show, Tom, that Homer Bailey had been averaging over 21 pitches per inning coming into this ball game. This is a lot tighter.
Well, Jerry Hairston Jr. bats for the 3rd time today. He's fly to center and struck out. First pitch breaking ball to Beauty, and there's strike 1.
Looks like Jerry's moved off the plate a little bit from his first time up. Opened his stance up. He always likes to hit the ball to right center field if possible. He will hit a high pitch. Most of his home runs when he was with the Reds are up around the letters. But he'll like to drive it to right center. So he's moving off the plate so he can kind of get his body going in that direction towards right center field with a swing.
Rain starting to fall a little bit harder. Still not bad. But umbrellas popping up everywhere all over Great American Ballpark. Sounded like he broke his back. But flips one into center field. He did break it. A 2-out single for Jerry Hairston. And now Bailey's going to really get down to business, knowing who's on deck.
We're going right down there to get it. Not a bad pitch at all by Homer. You throw a good pitch like that and break a guy's bat right out in the end. Nothing you can do about it. That baby shattered so bad you can't even make a lamp out of it.
Here's David Eckstein, a perfect 2 for 2 for Eckstein. A single to right, a single to center, scored on the home run by Gonzalez, and that's Adrian there in the on-deck circle. So you got to believe Bailey is in major attack mode in this at-bat to David Eckstein. Ahead 0-2.
Not an easy guy to whiff. Never is from year to year. He's only struck out 1 time so far this year.
Well, you look at the strike to ball ratio for Homer Bailey in this game. 74 pitches. He has thrown 52 strikes. 30 more strikes than balls.
By far the best of the year.
Bailey ahead of Eckstein, 0-2. Of course, with 2 away, doesn't need to strike him out, just needs to get him out. And now he wants to visit with Ramon Hernandez to make sure exactly what it is, what they want to do with Eckstein. What Chris was talking about a moment ago already. The league leader. Only struck out 1 time the entire season. See Orlando Cabrera, 21st most difficult. Former Red Jeff Keppinger, number 3 on that list. Jeff playing a lot in Houston this year. Short center field. Stubbs coming. He'll get it. Getting over. So Gonzalez is left in the on-deck circle. A hit a man left. Middle of the 5th. A 2-2 game. Home game this year. $2 tickets available at the community corner until the end of the 4th inning. And one lucky fan each and every game wins 50% of the net proceeds. The remaining benefit the baseball-themed outreach initiatives of the Reds Community Fund. For more information, visit reds.com/splitthepot. Reminded of that cashier in a convenience store in the state of Missouri a couple of days ago, literally down to his final $29 in his bank account. And bought that lottery ticket. What's he do, $250-something million?
I think it was 280 something.
Was it?
I mean, who's quibbling about a
lucky man?
30 million here or there. I love this quote. He wasn't sure whether he's going to quit his job or not. What would you do?
Well, I'd definitely keep working. I mean, everybody's different, and it probably depends a lot on your age and that kind of thing. But I mean, I don't know. I know for a lot of people that say, man, I'm buying a house on the beach and I'm never looking back. And you know what? Good for them. What about you? Gone swinging as Bailey.
I mean, before I answer, what would you ever want to buy your way into a major league club? Be an owner?
I don't know. I mean, I've never really explored the good, the bad, or, somewhere in the middle of what that would be like. I mean, I imagine if this guy has kids, I mean, don't you have to show him some kind of, work ethic? If you're a guy with young kids and trying to teach them, what you do out there instead of just kind of sitting around, ground ball down to 3rd, and they're 2 away in the inning.
No, you could do charity work.
Yeah, you could do that. You're right. You're right. Very well put. What would you do? Sit around?
See you at the beach house.
I hear you. There is such a thing as a part-time job.
Okay. Go collect sand dollars.
Two down for Orlando Cabrera. That wind really kicking up even more. It's been blowing hard the entire day, but even more so now. The good news is the rain has stopped for the time being. But man, that wind is howling. 2-0 on Cabrera.
They're a true tradition. Cincinnati Reds fans have grown to love for generations. Reds baseball and JTM beef hoagies. Grab a bag today and taste the tradition. JTM food family fun.
3-0 on Cabrera. In a 2-2 game, last to the 5th inning in Cincinnati. And there's ball 4. Votto will get a chance to come to the plate with Cabrera at first and 2 outs in the inning.
Well, let's see how they pitched Joey Votto this time. They pretty much kept the fastball on him exclusively. Walked him on a 3-2 fastball his first time up. He hit a fastball to the left side of the infield his last time up. Pretty close to a balk.
Well, I got to tell you, I mean, you know, whoever it was that said this guy has a good move, I mean, there haven't been many runners over at first. But I tell you, I mean, there has been nothing even remotely close to a good move that I've seen from Richard so far today. Doesn't mean he doesn't have it.
Well, the runners will tell you whether he's got a good move or not. So far, the Reds have no stolen bases and 1 caught stealing, picked off at first base. And he's got Cabrera going back on every move. So, you know, real good moves by left-handers are when you pick a guy off when he's not running. If you're running,
which wasn't the case for the guy who was actually picked off. Stubbs was running.
Yeah, but if you're watching Cabrera out of the corner of your screen, you're seeing him going back every time Richard lifts his leg up. So sometimes the reputation of a good move is better than having a good move.
0-2 now to Joey Votto. A little better read that time from Cabrera.
You know, one of the things that you can do against a left-hander, he kind of hangs up there, but see how he's kind of tilting? He's tilting towards first base, and that's given away, but you can't see that from the first base bag. You can see it from home. But one way to really do it is to get a real big lead and wait until he commits, and then you go. He's definitely different. He's quicker when he goes to the plate. He's a little slower, more deliberate when he lifts his leg up. These big league teams get enough video of that and they'll have it figured out.
Nothing at 2 on Joey Votto. And that misses away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. We talked about it yesterday. Votto, through his young career, has been very good against both right-handers and left-handers. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Today he's 0 for 1. Drew a walk in the first inning. Then they put a shift on him in the infield. And again, the third baseman, Headley's playing a good 25 feet off the third base line. That's right where Votto hit it.
You got to figure on getting a strike right here. Another look at the pickoff move right here. Cabrera's got him figured out. Like he's got a little bell on his foot.
Runner going on the pitch, and it's fouled away. Still 2-2 to Votto. Two and 2 to Votto. And able to just hang around. Fouls it off to the third base side out of play.
He's fouled off ball 4 and ball 5.
Well, 2-2 to Votto. The go-ahead run is Cabrera over at first base with 2 outs in the inning. Two and two again to Joey Votto. Richard, a long look over at first base, and he'll throw over that way yet again. Crowd growing a little bit restless. It had stopped raining, now starting to lightly fall again.
Well, those calls to throw over to first base are coming from the Padre bench. You saw the sign that Nick Hundley gave Richard before the pitch, which was he kind of flipped his thumb up. That's coming from the bench. Hundley looks over there every pitch, and they're telling him to go over. Quick pitch team that time.
In the air down the left field line, and it's going to fall in a hit. They throw it into third, and safe there is Cabrera. And a blue double by Votto keeps the inning alive.
That is a superb at-bat by Joey Votto. Yes, it's a flare, but look where the pitch is. It almost would have hit the ground. That's where Hundley was going to go get it with his glove. The third baseman, Chase Headley, can't negotiate it. So Votto goes to second, Cabrera on third, and the Reds are a base hit away from taking the lead.
Well, let's see if the Reds can get the lead for the first time in this game today. It was an Adrian Gonzalez 2-run home run that put San Diego in front in the 4th inning. Reds tied in the bottom of the 4th on 2-out singles to knock in runs by Jay Bruce and Ramon Hernandez. And now it's Brandon Phillips with runners at second and third and 2 away here in the Reds' 5th. Ball one high. Cabrera the go-ahead run at third, Votto at second, and that's a strike. Phillips didn't like the call by Tony Randazzo, the home plate umpire. Brandon, I believe, felt the ball was high. And away. 1-1 to Phillips. In the air, right center field. Drifting back on it, and at the wall, making the grab is Hairston to end the inning. So that close from a 3-run lead. 2 are left on. We go to the 6th, still tied at 2.
With you in the dry press box, I might add you. But it's time now for our Meyer text poll question of the day. Back-to-back afternoon games here in Cincinnati. What's your preference after attending an afternoon game? Text 1 if you like to hit the local watering hole. Text 2 if you fire up that grill. Text 3 if you have dinner out, or text 4 if you just veg out. 37664 is where you text those votes to. 37664 standard text message rates apply. As we go back to the booth, guys, I have number 4 down pat.
Well, we know you do.
Yes.
Just veg out.
Yes, sir.
Is potato a vegetable? Then that would be it.
That would be it indeed. How about you? Where are you on that list?
I'm firing up the grill.
I'm with you 100%.
I fire up the grill and then veg out.
Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely. Oh, and 2 the count on Adrian Gonzalez. Big batter in this ball game, a 2-2 game. Batting in the 6th inning.
Dinner out would involve Welsh dipping into his pocket, so that ain't happening.
Unless you have some coupons.
Nothing wrong with coupons.
No, that's right.
Oh, neck and neck race, it looks like. Grill and dinner out. Here's a 0-2 on Gonzalez. 0-2 on Adrian Gonzalez, and Bailey going to work. Breaking ball missed away. Now Gonzalez struck out in the first inning and then hit the 2-run home run to right field in the 4th inning. Starting to rain harder than it has all day long right now. Still not hard enough, not even close to stop play. Here's a 1-2 on the way. Fastball low. For the fans who brought along umbrellas or ponchos, they're hanging in there. For the others who did not, starting to make their way for cover. Breaking ball, and it's in the air, short left field. This will keep Adrian in the park as Gomes makes a catch for out number 1. Two runs, 5 hits for each team. San Diego's left 3. The Reds have stranded 5. Look at that little fella. Came to the game with his uni, wristbands. Looks like he's got a cast on or something on that right paw, maybe just bandaged up. But brought the umbrella and he's dialed in. Yeah, it looks like some kind of brace on that thing. Probably took a fastball off the wrist yesterday in Little League. Not whole. He'll be ready to go next Saturday. Day to day. And 1 to Chase Headley. Challenge with a fastball there. Headley like to have that one back. Headley, the 1 home run on the year, 7 runs batted in. Today had an extra base hit taken away on a real nice running catch made by Johnny Gomes down the left field line in the 1st, and then he bounced out to Votto in the 4th. Into center field, and that's a 1-out single for Headley, his first hit today.
Looked like an off-speed pitch for Homer right there. That looked like that splitter again. Got that splitter up one time, almost the same spot to Adrian Gonzalez. He parked it. That time Headley settles for a single. That baby is meant to be down the zone.
Well, here's Venable. Has swung a red-hot bat this entire series. He's 1 for 2 today. Struck out in the 2nd inning. Doubled to right center field in the 4th. Runner goes for a 2nd. And in there safely is Headley. A perfect 6 for 6 on the year. The Padres have not had to utilize the running game a ton in this series, but they do it in a 2-2 tie here in the 6th.
Well, it's a good time to do it, too. They've got their best base stealer out there, and he gets a good jump. And you know, still one of the deficiencies of Homer's game is shutting down the running game, being a little more quicker and more compact to the plate. They take advantage of it.
It's 19 stolen bases as a club for San Diego, 2nd most in the league behind the surprising Washington Nationals. Breaking ball is down and in. I say surprisingly because the Nationals are a 500 team through their first 18 games of the year. They beat the Dodgers on Friday night and lost in 13 innings by a run yesterday. Rubber game of that series being played today. Two 2-0 on Venable. 1 out. And it's in the dirt, ball 3. So what are you talking about? The Nationals, the league leader in stolen bases, and now San Diego 1 behind. Well, really knowing the lack of offense. Of course, you say that, and the Padres bust out for 10 in a series opener, but they're not known as a big scoring team. When you've got a guy swinging the bat like Venable is right now, they may green light him 3-0.
Yeah, you look where Ramon Hernandez is set up. I mean, he's set up 6 inches outside. That was an intentional walk right there. That's respect for Will Venable.
First walk of the game issued by Homer Bailey. Now the Padres, after watching the Reds tie the game at 2 in the bottom of the 4th inning, have 2 on with 1 out here in the 6th, and Kyle Blanks settling in. Blanks has bounced to short and struck out looking. Bailey 1 walk, has struck out 6, allowed 6 hits and 2 runs. And there's a fastball, a good one on the outside corner.
Well, he has really been able to dot the eye on that outside part of the plate against Kyle Blanks. He has made some of his better pitches against this big left fielder.
There's very little debate. There aren't many guys in the game much bigger physically than this guy. I mean, a lot of guys in baseball in this day and age might be built like linebackers. This guy's built like a defensive tackle. Here's a 1-1 pitch.
And nowadays you can say it's all natural.
6'6", 270 pounds. That's roughly the same size as the second-round pick of the Bengals yesterday, Carlos Dunlap. Dunlap may have 7, 8, 10 pounds on this guy, but they're big men. 2-1 to Blanks. Hammered into deep right center field, and it's up against the wall, and 1 run's going to score. They're going to try and bring in a second, and after missing the cutoff man, that'll easily happen. So a 2-out, 2-run double by Blanks has given San Diego a 4-2 lead.
And we talked about getting the ball in on this guy. If you're going to come on inner part of the plate, it looks like they wanted away, but Homer just missed his spot. And a pretty good swing on the ball by Kyle Blanks. This is what happens in the big leagues. You miss your spot, a guy hits the ball in the gap, and you score a couple of runs with 2 outs. That's too bad for Homer. Because up until this time, he's pitched himself a whale of a game. I'll tell you what, for a big guy, Blanks has got a short, or Blanks has a real short swing. A lot of times you get big guys with long arms, you know, they have a long sweeping swing, and you can just eat them up inside, but the guy's got some pipes.
Blanks really struggling coming into this series. He's batting under 200. It comes up with a huge hit right there, breaking a 2-2 tie. And now Scott Hairston. Ball 1. Reds bullpen scrambling to remove the tarp on the mound beyond the left center field wall and get somebody loose. Slow breaking ball swung on and missed by Hairston. That's Mike Lincoln cranking it up. Pitch of the game by Bailey. Still a long way to go in this one. We're only in the top of the 6th inning. Under a light rainfall in Cincinnati, and the Padres have broken a 2-2 tie with a 2-run double by Kyle Blanks. And here's ball 3. Five and a third innings for Bailey. 7 hits, 4 runs, all earned. Has walked 1 that was in this inning. Struck out 6. Now the payoff pitch to Hairston. Breaking ball swung and missed. Look out. And thankfully the bat landed in an empty spot. And I mean only an empty spot. All the rows to the left, the right, and front, and back of where that bat landed are filled.
Well, he gets fooled again. This is about the 3rd time in this at bat that he gets thrown a curveball, and that time is fooled so much the bat goes flying right out of his hands.
Now Nick Hundley. Blanks out at second base. Hundley has struck out looking and struck out swinging. First pitch fastball in the inside corner is strike. Well, you don't know if Bailey is starting to run out of steam. Now at 101 pitches, but clearly the velocity on that fastball is much less than it's been through most of the day. That's a good breaking ball there. Strike, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, it's interesting because as he loses velocity on his fastball, it looks like he's picking up a better feel for his breaking ball. So that breaking ball needs a fast arm. Got to spin it up there.
0-2. And a foul ball out of play. A little better velocity that time by Bailey, up at 92.
Yeah, I don't think that 103 pitches you're losing your speed or you're getting fatigued. It's not like he's had a lot of pitches under pressure and duress today. A lot of guys don't start getting in the groove until they throw about 80 pitches.
The thing Ken Merker was talking about when he worked, a handful of games with us last year on radio, TV, whatever it was. He was coming up through the Braves organization, and they let guys pitch 115, 125 pitches in the minor leagues. Sure. Guys coming up. So then you knew what it was like to work out of jams when you got to the 95, 100 pitch mark in a game. Otherwise, you never find out because they never let you do it. There's strike 3 call to end the inning. The 8 strikeouts tie a career high for Bailey, but he does allow a 2-run double by Blanks to give San Diego a 2-run lead. On a windy day, our Coors Light Freeze Cam is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Johnny Gomes due up second here in the Reds' 6th inning. Now down a couple of runs as they were when they came to bat in the bottom of the 4th inning. They tied the game then. And trying to do at least that and not take the lead this time. Ball 1 to Scott Rowland. Rowland puts a charge into 1. Deep right center field. Going back Venable. And this baby's out of here. And the Reds within a run on Rowland's 5th home run of the season. That's a way to get it started when you fall behind. Get one of them right back on one big crack of the bat. And then Gomes lifts one to center field. This one will stay in the yard. Hairston is there for the first out of the inning.
That Scotty gets one and stays right inside the ball right there. Boy, he is some kind of strong. This sounded great coming off the bat.
Bruce now comes to the plate. Bruce a run scoring single to left field in the 4th inning. Locking in the first Reds run of the game. It's a one-run game here in the bottom of the sixth. Two and two to Jay. There's a rocket into right center field. It'll shoot the gap and go to the wall. So a good day today for Jay Bruce against the left-hander Clayton Richard. A couple of hits, including a one-out double here in the sixth inning. And he now represents a tying run.
Yeah, Jay really has looked very good against Richards, and that's a great sign because if you feel comfortable against the left-hander, it's easy to carry it over against the right-handers. He stays right on that fastball.
Well, now Nick Hundley going to be sent out to the mound. You almost wonder if Bud Black is ready to make a change. He had a pinch hitter, Matt Stairs, in the on-deck circle when the top of this inning came to an end. And he has a right-hander ready down in that bullpen. Kieran Balsley, the San Diego pitching coach, on the horn to the San Diego bullpen. And here comes Bud Black. Looks like they'll go with the right-hander Mujica. We saw him yesterday pitch a scoreless inning. So Clayton Richard cannot lose the game. Can only figure in a no decision. Or, of course, win it. But Mujica comes on. Our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen with Ramon Hernandez coming up, and we'll be back in a moment.
Clayton Richard, the left-hander, leaves the ball game with the lead. He can be the winner, but not the loser. He'll turn it over now with one out. And Ramon Hernandez at the plate to Edward Mujica. Started his major league career in '06 with the Cleveland Indians. Spent 3 years there and was a workhorse last year in 67 appearances. Boy, this Padre bullpen is good.
Mujica threw the ball very well here last night. And there's a first pitch breaking ball to Ramon Hernandez in there straight. Now Mujica's problems this year have occurred to the very first batter that he faces. He's given up 3 home runs to first batters faced this year already, and gave up a double to the first batter he faced yesterday, Ryan Hannigan. Now he retired the next 3 after that. But although it's very early in the season, you know that first batter thing can begin to creep inside a pitcher's head. 1-1. Check swing, fooled him there.
Well, this bullpen has really been something else for the San Diego Padres. 2.7 overall, the bullpen earned run average. But in the last 13 games, taking a run off of that, it is 1.7. Batting average down in the 100s against them. Buddy Black has got the back end of their bullpen looking good.
That's where we figured we'd see the Reds, and still might see the Reds when all is said and done.
Before it's all said and done, you will.
Last year, the Reds had the 3rd best ERA.
Of course, what helps
a National League team.
What helps the bullpen is if your starters go deeper in the game and you're not trying to cover the game from the 5th inning on. Nothing but sliders and splitters from Mujica so far. There's a heater.
And Hernandez knocked in what was at the time the tying run in the 4th inning with a single in the center field against Richard. And has a chance to tie it again with a base hit with Jay Bruce at second and 1 away. Backing up is Venable. He'll make the catch at the warning track. Tagging up and advancing on to third is Bruce. There are 2 away. And now Dusty Baker will remove Homer Bailey from the game and send up Lance Nix to bat for him. So Homer goes 6 innings here today. Allows 7 hits, 4 runs, all earned. Matches his career high with 8 strikeouts and walks 1 batter. And no sooner is Nix announced, the lone left-hander in that San Diego bullpen is ready to roll. That's Joe Thatcher. And really gives you an idea about Bud Black and where he thinks his game is headed. And knowing how good his team is at the end of the game in the bullpen, he's going to use his only left-hander out of there in the 6th inning of this game. Well, Homer Bailey still has a chance to get a win in this game. It would be his first of the year. Well, the Reds would have to score 2 more here and make it stand in the bottom of the 6th. Lance Nix up to bat. And a first pitch breaking ball from Joe Thatcher is down low.
So you're going to get a lot of those. Joe Thatcher's only been in 1 ball game, a third of an inning. Was on the disabled list coming out of spring training with a sore shoulder.
And Thatcher, of course, came off the DL Friday night. And he came on to retire Joey Votto to end that game on Friday night.
Well, he gives you that sidearm look as a lefty. Kind of sets up closed, steps towards the first base dugout and wheels it from way down under.
Nick staying in there even after the pitching change. And here comes a 2-1 to Lance Nix. Off the outside corner, 3 balls and a strike.
And he doesn't get you out with stuff. He gets you out with the way he releases it. He's real close, keeps his glove low. Look how low that arm angle is. Every pitch he's thrown, a little bit of a sweeping slider.
So they bring in the lefty to face a lefty, and Thatcher walks Lance Nix. And now do we see another pitching change from Bud Black? Yes, we will. So a right-hander this time will be summoned from the San Diego bullpen. Reds have runners on the corners with 2 outs, trailing here in the bottom of the 6th inning, 4-3. We'll be back to tell you about the new pitcher in just a moment. Used in this inning by Bud Black, the San Diego manager. This one part of a double switch. Tony Gwynn enters the game to play center field. And now right-hander Luke Gregerson, who pitched 2 perfect innings here yesterday, comes on to try and get the final out with the Padres leading 4-3.
Yeah, he had 3 strikeouts in that ball game yesterday, Gregerson did. Interesting to see what kind of stuff he has on back-to-back days.
Should be noted that although Drew Stubbs was in the starting lineup yesterday, the 2 innings worked by Gregerson, they did not face one another.
Well, Gregerson's main pitch is that slider. You take the fastball down the middle of the first pitch of the count, you're likely to get a Slide Johnson coming up here in the next couple pitches.
There it is right there. Jay Bruce a tying run. The go-ahead run, Lance Nix is at first, and there's another slider. short way for the force out, and that'll end the inning. Reds get a home run by Roland. End of 6. San Diego in front by a run. Nation's fastest 3G network, AT&T Rethink Possible. By your Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky Honda dealers. Visit mycincinnatihondadealer.com for current offers. And by Granger, with over 900,000 products for the ones who get it done. One-run ball game. San Diego in front. We move to the top of the 7th inning. Now they came prepared. That'd be a good look for you, Chris.
You know, I have some
even though we don't get rained on up here. I mean, you were donning the beret in yesterday's telecast, and maybe you ought to find one of those ponchos.
That was your suggestion to beret. I'm just happy this year to have a fashion consultant sitting right next to me.
Mike Lincoln, we talked about him yesterday. After a couple of shaky outings, including one on opening day, he started to throw the ball better and better and better, and getting better results. 1-1 to Tony Gwynn, who bats for the first time. It'll be 9-1-2 in the San Diego batting order. Tony Gwynn came limping into town as far as his batting average was concerned, but all that has changed over the last couple of days. He had 2 hits, including a 2-run home run, scored twice, was on base 3 times in the series opener, and then went 1 for 3 here yesterday. 2-2 to Gwynn. And yes, for those of you wondering who weren't with us on Friday or yesterday, this is the son of the all-time greatest San Diego Padre and Baseball Hall of Famer Tony Gwynn Sr. Junior played collegiately like his dad, and where his dad is a head coach at San Diego State. Was originally drafted by Milwaukee. Was traded to the Padres last year. 2-2 pitch. And there's strike 3 called on the outside corner.
I got to say one thing about the umpiring of Tony Randazzo. He has been consistent in calling that low pitch. That's a 9th Reds strikeout. Homer Bailey notched up 8 of them.
Jerry Hairston Jr. is 1 for 3, singled in the 5th. Good play by Lincoln. How in the world do you make that play? Great reaction time.
Well, you stick your glove out there. Sometimes the ball finds it. But he reached out and grabbed that bad boy. A certain base hit.
Lincoln has only allowed 1 run over his last now 7 innings. Of course, he had a bulging disc in his neck last year. Went on the disabled list in early June. Did not pitch again. And in late July had cervical disc replacement surgery in the neck. After putting together a very strong 2008 season. After missing, what, nearly 3.5 years with injuries. Two 2-0 on David Eckstein. Now to Roland, and again Gonzalez will be left in the on-deck circle, and that's where you like him leading off the next inning. All right, the Reds will come to bat in the 7th. They're down 4-3. We're going to keep it right here as we always do on Sundays. The singing of God Bless America. And an intern in the Reds promotional events department, Lauren Schrader, will perform God Bless.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
The Cincinnati Bell Riverboat deck here at Great American Ballpark. Boy, the panoramic views are spectacular. This 2-story outdoor party area high above the center field wall. There you get a look. You can make your plans today by calling the Reds Group Sales Department, 513-765-7600. Chris, you and I were out there after the opening day game, hanging out for a little while. And you know, one of the real benefits of being a season ticket holder, whether it be a full season, partial season, some of the events like what took place before the game today, hang out and get your pictures taken with some of your favorite Reds, and the manager Dusty Baker, Brandon Phillips, among others. Very, very nice, and certainly much appreciated that the players would come out for that as well. All right, Reds are down by a run, and Orlando Cabrera leads off the inning, swinging and lifting a fly ball to right field. 1 pitch and 1 out for Luke Gregerson, who pitched 2 innings out of the bullpen here yesterday. And they were perfect innings. He got the final out in the 6th inning when the Reds left 2 on. And now he faces Joey Votto. Votto will walk into first, bounce to third in the 4th, and then hit a little pop-up down the left field line that dropped in amongst the trio of Hairston, Headley, and the left fielder Kyle Blanks for what was ruled a double. 1-0 to Joey Votto. Started 2 and took it for a strike. You can see that rain still falling, and has been for pretty much a better part of about a half hour, 45 minutes. Our director Roy Alfers, an off day today. And Votto gone on strikes. I'm only kidding. Of course, Roy is hard at work, doing a great job as always today down in the truck. But he loves hanging out down there along the banks of the Ohio on the Commonwealth side, and firing a line out there, along with you, Mr. Wells.
Yeah. Never know when a stray carp's going to swim by your way.
It was very nice to read that very nice article in the paper, I think a couple of days ago, when we were celebrating Earth Day, about how the Ohio River remarkably has become a very clean body of water, as opposed to where it was about a decade ago. And that's great to hear.
Yes, it is.
0-2 the count on Brandon Phillips.
May not look so great.
No, not on a day like today, but it was very encouraging. 1-2 to Brandon Phillips. Brandon with a pair of home runs this year. Number 3 would tie this baby up here in the 7th inning. Backing up on a 2-hopper is Headley. Boy, Gonzalez smooth as silk over there. Scooping it out of the dirt. The Reds quietly go in order in the 7th. Get it done. And man, does Adrian Gonzalez get it done for the San Diego Padres. He has homered in each of the 3 games of this series, including the 2-run home run to right field in the 4th inning today. And now Gonzalez with 6 home runs this year. So the Reds down a run and taking over on the mound, still doing it. I mean, the Reds have certainly taken their lumps on his pitching staff, but not because of Arthur Rhodes.
I'll tell you what, he is the model of consistency ever since he put on really a major league uniform, but Reds uniform certainly. 8th time for Arthur. Has not pitched in a series. How about the opponent batting average? I'd like to trot that out to the mound.
Very nice.
It's like he's pitching against nothing but pitchers.
He's on to face Adrian Gonzalez. And a number off the end of the bat. We have time here. Hernandez with time, and they get it. Gonzalez among the slowest players in all of baseball.
You know, you have time, you know you have time, but you can't take your time too much. You've got to make sure, especially with a wet baseball, you go down there and you grab it at first shot, and he still gets him by a couple of strides. It's a nice play.
So 1 gone, and here's Chase Headley, a switch hitter. We have left-handed batting Will Venable due up next. Say over the weekend, the Chicago Cubs have jumped all over the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers were finishing off the Pirates in a 3-game sweep, where I think they outscored the Pirates in a 3-game sweep like 34-1, including 20-0 in the final game of the series. 36-1, I beg your pardon. But then Milwaukee at home against the Cubs, and they have just gotten blasted and are again today. Here's a ground ball to Phillips. Baseball is a funny game, boy. When the Cubs left New York, having lost 3 out of 4, Lou Piniella's changing lineups every game. They had the 2nd fewest runs scored in the entire National League, only behind Houston, before they went into Milwaukee this weekend. And the Cubs, through 3 innings, have a 6-0 lead today. And now it's 9-0. I mean, even with this bad start, this Central Division, I still think, Chris, maybe you disagree. I mean, I think this thing is still wide open. Cardinals have a nice team. I don't think by any stretch of the imagination are they a dominant club that's a lead pipe cinch to win a division. I mean, you love Pujols, you love Holiday, you love Carpenter and Wainwright. But, I mean, clearly, you know, they've gone on this road trip out west, and all of a sudden, they've been shut down.
Boy, Venable a little different against a lefty like Rhodes.
/Fans Choice. And vote for your favorite player today. The Fans Choice bobblehead will be given away at the Reds game Saturday, July the 31st against the Atlanta Braves. So your choice, you pick. Well, now the Padres will go to their bullpen. They've already used Richard, Mujica, Thatcher, Gregerson, and now taking over is right-hander Mike Adams.
Pretty good pickup for the Padres. Mike Adams picked up off of waivers. We last saw him in the National League with the Milwaukee Brewers. Good movement on his fastball.
Gregerson perfect again for 2 innings yesterday, an inning and a third today. And here's Scott Rowland, who had a hit and an RBI taken away in the first by Jerry Hairston Jr. Scott walked and scored in the 4th. Hit a home run leading off the 6th inning. Did he go around? They appealed and nothing doing. Well, the Reds need a win in the worst sort of way. After beginning this homestand, winning 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers, they dropped the first 2 in this series and trying to do something they have done 6 times already this year, and that's win a game in their final at bat. There's a base hit by Rowland into left field to begin the bottom of the 8th inning.
Well, Rowland having a pretty good day. Last time he led off an inning was the 6th, and he went deep to right center field. Combine that with a base on balls, and he has been on his last 3 times up. Go down to get that slider.
Swing and a miss by Johnny Gomes.
Well, they have not been in a hurry to throw Johnny Gomes a fastball today.
High fly ball. Man, he just missed it. Just missed it. Rowland gonna bluff the tag. Perfect throw in from center by Gwynn. 1 away in the inning. Boy, Gomes would like to have that back. It's been a good day as well for Jay Bruce. We talked about Scott Rowland. Bruce, an RBI single in the 4th inning, and then had a double into right center field. Into 6th, was stranded at 3rd, representing the tying run at the time. Right now the Reds have a tying run at 1st, and Bruce the go-ahead run at the plate against Mike Adams. Ball 1. Saw earlier this was a date back in 1976. You may remember at Dodger Stadium when Rick Monday saved the American flag from being lit on fire out in left center field at Dodger Stadium.
Still one of my favorite YouTube videos.
1-1 the count on Jay Bruce. And now 1-2, and it's fascinating to talk to Monday about that event, and not only what happened on the field, but how really his life changed, so unbelievably changed by that one act. And of course, he still has that flag. Two and 2 to Jay Bruce. Pitch to hit right there, and he knows it. Just tell by his reaction after he fouled it away.
That's the best fastball that Mike Adams has tossed up there. This one coming in there at 94. Kind of had him looking at the slow stuff and sped it up on him.
2-2 to Bruce. And it's pulled down the right field line into the corner. On his way to third is Scott Rowland. And it dies down there in that corner, and they're going to hold him at third base. The ball gets away, and now Rowland to the plate, and he's going to score. And Bruce on to third. The ball got away from Adrian Gonzalez after Mark Berry had already held Rowland, wisely so, but Rowland always alert. Kept an eye on what was going on right in front of him. Same holds true for Bruce, and it's a tie game.
Well, the Padres break down on their fundamentals right here. They missed the cutoff, man. That ball came in there and just a little bit too high for Gonzalez to snag. It kind of got held up in the corner back there, but you weren't going to score Rowland anyway. Venable gets it in, and it's just too high. And maybe Gonzalez didn't get up high enough to get it. Any way you cut it, it's all tied up.
And now Hernandez with a chance for the Reds to get the lead here in the bottom of the 8th inning. They have Francisco Cordero getting loose in the bullpen. I'm sure that'll be a double and then an error on someone, whether it be Venable and right or Gonzalez at first, allowing the tying run to score. 1-0 the count on Hernandez, and it's in there, a strike. The arrow will be charged to Venable, the right fielder. Boy, it looked like a pretty good throw. I mean, Gonzalez barely had to leave his feet, if at all.
And, you know, he's so far from where Venable was when he threw it. He could have backed towards the infield a little bit to get him a better shot at it.
1-1 to Hernandez. And it's low and away. Boy, you got to get this run in right here, right now.
Well, he's 90 feet away. All you really need is a fly ball. Bruce, a little above average speed of third.
Hernandez knocked in what was at the time a tying run with a single into center field in the 4th inning. And now the 2-1-2 squeeze coming. And it's bunted foul. Great idea. And Hernandez could not put it down in fair territory.
Well, at least he was able to foul it off. The nightmare happens when you bunt right through this pitch. I love that play, though.
All right, now Hernandez has to regroup. Bruce back at third. Padres have the infield in. And a 2-2 to Hernandez. They appeal. No. Ted Barrett, the first base umpire. So the count has gone full. Ryan Hannigan has slipped into the on-deck circle. That's a pitcher spot due up next. Arthur Rhodes' spot. But Hannigan trying to give the Reds the lead for the first time today. Can he do it? Still 3-2. Of their 7 wins this year, 6 have come in the Reds' final at bat. And here we are in the bottom of the 8th inning of a 4-4 game. Runner at third and a 3-2 again. And there's a base hit in the right field, and the Reds have the lead. Clutch hitting by Jay Bruce and Ramon Hernandez. And the Reds are in front 5-4. How about that?
Boy, a real battling at bat for Ramon, huh? Fighting off a couple of tough pitches, taking a marginally high fastball on a 2-2 count before he finds his favorite spot in right field. That's a slider that spun but didn't do much else.
Arthur Rhodes will be taken down for a pinch hitter. A perfect inning out of the bullpen for Rhodes. Bruce scoring the go-ahead run after Jay had doubled in the at-bat prior to the RBI single by Hernandez. So it will be Hannigan to bat for Rhodes, and we'll see, of course, Cordero in the ninth. Chris Dickerson going to come on the run for Ramon Hernandez, and a nice round of applause for Ramon. Why not? Once he tied the game in the fourth inning with a base hit with 2 outs. And here with the go-ahead run at third and 1 out in the 8th inning, he knocks in the go-ahead run. Last year swung the bat pretty well, but had a tough time knocking in runs. And look at this year. 7 RBIs already in 25 at bats. 4 less than he had in 10 times that number all of last year. Runner goes. Throw to second. And Dickerson is safe.
Nick Hundley having a chat with Tony Randazzo, the home plate umpire, after this. He could not have done a better job. I mean, he gets rid of this ball, and the ball is right on the money. Typical old case of stealing it on the pitcher.
Well, now Hannigan with a chance to knock in a run. We just showed you how well he's done in this area so far this season. 3-0 count. And he takes ball 4. Now you got to hope those base hits today by Ramon Hernandez, as Darren Balsley, the pitching coach, comes out to chat with Adams, can spark Ramon at the plate. He was 0 for 8 on the year with runners in scoring position. 2 of 3 today, including a game tire, and now 1 to give the Reds a lead in the 8th.
Well,
might be a game winner.
Last year, Ramon was one of the better guys on this ball club in the clutch.
Ramon talking things over with first-year Reds trainer Paul Lassard. So now Drew Stubbs, a hitless day and 4 at-bats for Drew.
Yeah, he's liable to get some fastballs because it looks like Mike Adams, whatever slider he had, he's just kind of spinning it on up there right now.
Oh, and 1 to Drew Stubbs. Fastball away, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike on Stubbs. 2 on, 2 out. 2 runs in here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And a breaking ball misses down and in. 2-1 on Stubbs.
I mean, as an example, that's where Nick Hundley, the catcher, wanted that slider outside. I don't know whether it's a wet baseball or he just can't get a grip of it, but every slider he has thrown has gone backwards.
Better there. Adams, a big deep breath. Dickerson, the runner at second. Ryan Hannigan on at first. 1 away here in the Reds' 8th inning, and the 2-2 to Stubbs. Fastball up and in to run it full. Well, oftentimes managers will do things when you have a lead that you wouldn't dare do in a tie game or certainly behind a run. Here you have Stubbs, who has strikes out a lot. On a 3-2 pitch, 1 out, would you start the runners? And perhaps Adams wondering the same thing. A lot of times when teams are ahead, managers will gamble a little bit more than they otherwise would. 3-2 the count on Stubbs. And again, Adams wondering, are they running? Now you have a very fast runner at second. You have Hannigan at first, but of course Gonzalez is playing behind him over there. So he has a huge lead.
Yeah, he really ought to get a bigger lead.
They are not going, and Stubbs dumps it in foul ground, first base side, out of play. Two to Stubbs, and they're not going again, and it's ball 4 high. Adams is all over the place. There is no activity in the San Diego bullpen. So Bud Black's going to stay with Adams, who clearly is struggling out there on the mound. He allowed a single to roll in to begin the inning, and out later a double by Bruce. A throwing error on Venable allowed Rowland to score to tie the game. Hernandez then a single to knock in the go-ahead run. Dickerson came in to run. Steele second. Hannigan and Stubbs have walked to load him up. And here's Orlando Cabrera. 0 for 3 in the game, but has come up with big hits for this Reds team when put in these situations. Ball 1 away. Cabrera is the team leader with 13 runs batted in.
In fact, if you add their RBI that the other shortstop, Paul Giannis, has, they've got the most productive shortstop spot in the league.
They'll try and blow on this one, but to no avail. Infield fly rule was not put into effect on that play. It was a tough play.
Well, it has to be a fair ball to be an infield fly.
Did he catch it in foul ground?
Yeah.
All right, 2 away in the inning.
Right on the line, but it looked like he was a step over.
That's a big out. Cabrera unable to get in another run. The lead still stands at 5-4, and here's Votto.
Well, they've already used their only left-hander in the bullpen. So unless Buddy Black makes a pitching change with another right-hander, Joey Votto's going to get a chance at Mike Adams. And it's been a long inning for Adams. He has already thrown 30 pitches.
So here's Votto. 1 hit and 2 career at bats for Votto against Mike Adams. And takes a fastball up and away. Ball 1. Padres will fly to Miami after the game. more accurately Fort Lauderdale, and they'll play Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday against the Florida Marlins. 1-0 the count to Joey Votto with the bases loaded. Right down the middle, a fastball, a strike. Dickerson, the runner at third. It's Hannigan at second. Drew Stubbs on at first. Reds have scored twice here in the bottom of the 8th inning to take a 1-run lead. And trying to add to it. 1-2 to Votto. Struck him out. But the Reds score twice. Tie-breaking hit by Ramon Hernandez. Cordero will come on to try and nail it down and get the Reds a win in this. Ramon Hernandez going out there to get it. Throws out Adrian Gonzalez. And Morel hot dog. Play of the game. Well, what do you know? Francisco Cordero is going to have a chance to pick up a save. Been a while. Chris Dickerson remains in the game to play left field. Brian Hannigan stays in behind the plate. And now on the mound, Francisco Cordero. Already has 6 saves in 7 chances. Of course, he saved 6 of the Reds' win and was credited with the victory in the other. This guy has been so good since signing as a Red 3 years ago. I mean, as good as anybody in the league.
Well, he's one reason why that has been the strong part of this Reds ball club for the last few years. They're able to shorten ball games because their bullpen has been so good. 256 career saves for Cordero.
Well, he comes in to try and protect the slimmest of margins. A 1-run lead. He'll be facing Kyle Blanks, followed by a pinch hitter and then Nick Hundley. Rain continues to fall. Grounds crew coming out. The infield dirt very, very wet. And Cordero already having to go to the area behind the mound to clean out his spikes before he goes to work on Blanks. The one save that Cordero blew was a game at Pittsburgh back on the 17th. Just couldn't find a strike zone. Walked 3 batters in 2/3 of an inning. Gave up 2 runs. But other than that, mighty good. Slow chopper down to Rowland. Gloves, throws, and got him by a half step.
Tell you what, Kyle Blanks runs pretty well for a big guy. He might have tight end speed. Scott Rowland fields this on the slow hop right there, the low hop, which is slow, and get him by a step. Half a step.
Now Matt Stairs. He will bat for Adams, who right now is the pitcher of record for San Diego. Came in with a 1-run lead in the 8th inning and gave up 2.
This guy will not get cheated.
Seemingly has been around forever. Matt Stairs has played now for 12 major league teams over his 18-year career. He tied the all-time major league record for most teams played for. A mark held by Deacon McGuire, Ron Vallone, and Mike Morgan. Of course, Vallone and Morgan spent time with the Reds. Two and 0. Huge cut by Stairs.
It won't change.
No.
It could be 3-0 or 0-2. He's up there to lift and separate.
Matt Stairs is 1 home run shy of tying Cliff Johnson for the all-time pinch hit home run record. So want to stay out of his power, and that Cordero is done. Dickerson for the second out of the inning. Don't forget, coming up next, it's Reds Live, brought to you by King's Honda in a King's Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com. All right, those that have waited around are now standing in a slight downpour. Swing and a miss, strike one to Hundley. Reds won 2 of 3 over the Dodgers to begin this homestand. Got pounded Friday night by the Padres, and just had a very ugly loss yesterday, capped off by a closed-door session where the manager made it very clear to his team that days like yesterday were unacceptable. They came out today, fell behind a couple of times, and both times have come back. Once to tie, the other to take the lead. And now strike away from getting a win. Two on Nick Hundley. To the count. 2 outs. We're in the top of the 9th inning, and the Reds lead it by a run. Break-even pitch. Ball 3. Tony Gwynn due up next.
Yeah, you get a wet mound like that, and the pitcher's most important part of his balance is landing that front foot. And if that foot hits and slides a little bit, it throws you off.
A 2-out walk. Cordero thought that was strike 3. So now the tying run stands at first. The go-ahead run walks to the plate. Tony Gwynn. He only has 3 major league home runs. He has 1 home run this year, and that came on Friday night against Bronson Arroyo. Cabrera, the regular San Diego shortstop, comes on to run for Hundley. And all of a sudden, Cordero, whether it be a wet mound, whether it be a wet ball, after retiring the first 2 batters in the inning, cannot find the strike zone.
Well, you can see his cleats are just clogged with mud. No excuse, though. Everybody's out there have to play in the same conditions.
There goes the runner.
Huge jump.
Throw down to second.
Block it.
And it's into center field, and the runner will advance on to third. They better get it in.
Well, both the infielders look like they were late getting over there. In fact, it looked like Everett Cabrera had such a huge jump. I mean, he's halfway there. Cabrera's getting there, but he can't get there in time, and Brandon Phillips can't even get there to back it up.
Well, now the tying run stands at third. It's 2-1 to count on Gwynn. And a fastball is off the outside corner. 3 balls and a strike.
Boy, Dusty Baker's got to be thinking, is anything easy?
Another walk. Now Brian Price comes trotting out of the Reds' first base side dugout before Jerry Hairston Jr. comes to the plate. Hairston in the game is fly to center, struck out swinging, single to center, and bounced out to the mound. That was that rocket against Mike Lincoln, and somehow Lincoln got a glove on and threw him out back in the 7th inning. Lincoln and Rhodes lights out of the bullpen in front of Cordero. Lincoln a perfect inning with a strikeout. Rhodes a perfect inning with a strikeout. But now 2 on, 2 out of the 9th. And Hairston down, strike 1. The inning began quietly. A ground out to third by Kyle Blanks. Matt Steers popped up to short left field. But then a walk to Hundley. Cabrera came on to run for him, stole second, went to third when the throw wound up in center field. And then the walk to Tony Gwynn. So the tying run stands at third, the lead run at first, as Hairston goes to get either a new bat or some pine tar on the bat that he had before.
Now the bat he had before is going in the killing pile. I think he went through about a half a box of these babies in this trip.
0-1 to Hairston.
Hairston trying to dry off that barrel, giving him the best shot of a line drive.
Straightaway center field. Stubbs is there, and the Reds win it. And again, they win in their final at bat. They have 8 victories on the season. 7 of the 8 have come in their final at bat. Cordero able to smile now. Reds win it by a final count of 5-4 in Princeton. The Reds need that in the worst sort of way.
Well, the Reds needed this one today, and they came back and played a lot better brand of baseball than they showed yesterday. They thwarted the Padres in their efforts to be a sweep here in Cincinnati for the first time in 10 years. So it did not happen for Bud Black's crew. They'll head on a plane and head to Miami to play the Marlins, and the Reds will tomorrow head out to Houston to play the Astros.
So our final count is 5-4. The Reds win it. Rhodes over Adams. Cordero is 7th save. And we're back with more from Great American Ballpark in a moment.